company is called Etiquette Matters, because it really does matter. And I'll just share a little bit about my background as to why I started this company. I grew up in Canada in a small town, and my first job out of college was working for Air Canada, and I was based in Thunder Bay. And if anybody's ever been to Thunder Bay, you know it's the armpit of Canada. That's what we all call it, because it's dirty, stinky, and nobody really wants to say they're from there. Anyway, I was in a back office position, and when they closed our admin base in Thunder Bay, they said, choose someplace you would like to go in the Air Canada network. And I said, and I was young and single, and I said, I'm going to London. And so I packed up and I moved to London. Unfortunately, I had no idea how to behave properly in London. I acted like I was still back in Thunder Bay and absolutely embarrassed myself. And so what I did was I sought out a company called Protocol London, where I learned not only how to behave properly in a different culture, but how to represent myself, my brand, build a brand, and really represent the company that I was working for. And what that did was amazing in my career. The trajectory of my career just took off, from a back office position to an inside sales to outside sales to charter sales. And by the age of 28, I was recruited to the US to start an airline as the director of sales and marketing. So I share that because I am proof positive that etiquette matters. It made the hugest difference in my career. And it wasn't until our children grew and they were about to fly the nest and go and start their careers when I taught them, and they encouraged me to tell other people. People don't necessarily understand these days how to build connections or how to act properly. We've become so casual. And so ultimately, the reason I started that was to share what was a gift to me with other people. And so the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas shared, good manners will open doors that the best education cannot. And we hear that over and over. People, there was a research study by Stanford and Harvard that basically said that people are hired 85% of the time based on their soft skills. And unfortunately, it's not being taught in schools, and really not even in the home units much anymore. So what is business etiquette? It's the people skills. It's the soft skills. We hear over and over, people need soft skills. Rules for proper appearance, behavior, communications. That goes beyond just what you should wear, but how you can represent yourself best with colors, with the types of clothing, with how to behave. All of those things that will make you stand out above the competition. And then ultimately it's about helping people feel comfortable around us. And it's because it's all based on respect. So when I started my company 3 years ago, I started working just teaching children. I figured if there was a time to really kind of expand my comfort level, I would do it with a very forgiving base, and that was children. And that was a lot of fun, but my passion, my heart, is all about the young professionals because it helped me at that stage. And so I went back to school. I got licensed for intercultural etiquette. How do you work with people of other cultures? Whether you're going to their country or they're coming to our country, how do you show respect? How can you work with them? And also with corporate etiquette. So right now, my target markets are really in the medical and legal professionals, where connection is so important. You are representing not just yourself at that point, you're representing a client. And so how do you do that? Medical has become extremely competitive. Beyond just the clinics and hospitals, you see all these concierge services that are starting, and it's become highly competitive. So really taking the focus off of everybody's a diagnosis to everybody's a human, and how can I have that comfort level with my patient? And so those are the professionals I'm looking for: business and sales executives, those frontline people that are representing their company. International companies, as I said, knowing how to work with those international guests is critical. You can blow a meeting before you even open your mouth if you do things in the wrong order, or you don't identify their specific needs for showing respect based on their rank. A lot of intricacies to that. Universities, young professionals, as I said, that's really where my heart is, but I love working with adult professionals as well. And I just recently started a program for athletes. You know, when they are out on the field, they're wearing their uniform representing their school, but they're also representing their school when they are getting on the bus or they're meeting with fans or whatever. And so I started working with some athletes and really trying to get into the pro level as well, because we have a lot of really bad role models in athletics. And people, if they aren't taught what is correct, they will act in the ways that they have seen where it's gotten people attention, and oftentimes it's for bad behavior. So my competition really, down in southern Minnesota, I live in Owatonna. I serve kind of the whole southern quadrant. There are 3 people that do what I do up in the Twin Cities. However, one only does children, and she does it as a nonprofit. One that does etiquette training purely at the St. Paul Hotel, and another one who basically just makes materials and videos, things like that, and sells online. So I'm unique in that I want that interaction with people to come alongside, whether it is as a company, as a group, as an individual. Working with people is really where my heart is. So competition too, like I said, the poor role models on TV and social media. And there's a lot of people that are just unaware that there's this kind of training. Down south, it's huge. You know, you hear about people going to cotillion and they take etiquette training as part of their education. Up in this area, we don't see that so much. And I really feel is a detriment in our ability to compete, particularly on a global scale. So my revenue generation plan, really 90% of it is in doing seminars and workshops, individual coaching about 10%, and I'm kind of exploring the whole downloadable content. I'm finding when I talk to some people, they'll pull me off to the side and say, you know, I'm kind of struggling with this particular thing, and I don't really want anybody to know, as if people wouldn't know already, you know, if you're really uncomfortable. But they're like, would you do something so I can do it in my office at home? And so I'm exploring that right now. Anyway, again, my name is Kim Purcell. My company is Etiquette Matters. And I thank you for your attention.